please do that. We do have some good conversation here. We'll be going over stuff, a little bit of stuff that we've already covered, but adding some new things to that as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get that charging, chargers, and app info on the screen. Thank you, Gabriella. And okay, so how far do you drive every day? Everybody, put your cameras on. I want you to tell me this. I really need to understand how far people are driving every day.
0 miles.
Well, right now, right?
Yeah.
50 normally.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, 50.
All right.
Hey, it's Elisa. I probably drove about 17.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say 15.
All right. Barry, how about you? I didn't hear from you yet. Can't hear you.
I know Barry, he must be about 30, 35 miles a
Okay.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'll
So
do
it sounds like,
5.
oh, and somebody annotated the screen for me. Thank you. 120 miles a day. Thanks, Barry. Was that you, Barry? That is a significant amount, much higher than what we're seeing from everybody else. And we heard another 35 in there. And it looks like someone may have put something in chat. 15. Okay. Oh, but then, so Kay Simmons, what is your first name? I'll keep calling you Kay Simmons then. Oh, Karen. Okay. Hi, Karen. So 15 miles up 3,000 feet and then 15 miles down 3,000 feet. So I think that's a very Colorado drive cycle right there. I'm gonna go on mute for a second. Yeah, so that hilly driving is interesting because you use a lot of energy going up and then you can use a lot of regen, or gain a lot in regen and electric vehicles coming back down. So, okay, so just that's good for me to know where everybody is with that. Hang on.
One comment on the regen, switching from a ICE car to either a good hybrid car or an EV, you start to realize, why would anybody ever use friction to stop a car? In other words, normal brakes. You're literally wasting a large amount of energy and you're just throwing it into heat, dust, and wearing out the pads on your brakes. And you can capture so much with either a good hybrid or an EV. I mean, when I come down from the mountains, I charge the car up a lot. And it's, if I drive my truck, which we still have for backcountry camping, it just feels really stupid that all that energy is just going to waste. So that's one thing I never realized that I would appreciate so much.
I feel the same way. It's one of my favorite things about the car is the regen and how it just makes so much sense. It's very intuitive. So let's go on to the next slide. Sorry, it's allergy season and I really feel it. So bear with me here.
Sorry, I had to stop share really quick to get the annotation off, but we're ready to go.
Okay. I think I have an extra little mark in there too, so just ignore that. So basically for charging, we want to think about charging where you park and charging while you sleep. And I would like to these are some facts that I just, kind of put out there. I want everyone to think about.
Bonnie, if you're choking on pollen there, I could actually talk to this slide.
Sure, Jeremy, go ahead. I am choking on pollen, so I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, this is the funny thing. Like, a couple people have said that people that don't have EVs are worried about range anxiety, and once you do, you don't worry about it because, yeah, most people just don't drive that much. Even if you drive 150 miles a day for your job, then you'll save even more money having an EV and you don't ever have to go to the like, it takes me 3 seconds to fill up, right? I get out of my car, I grab the thing, I plug it in, I go inside. In the morning, I come out, I unplug it, 3 seconds, right? I don't go anywhere. And because my commute's only 50 miles, I can drive all week without charging it. But why not go ahead and plug it in most nights? So most people think about road trips, but most people don't do road trips all that often. And the average American household has more than one car anyway. So if you're really worried about it, keep your favorite gas car or hybrid for your road trip that you really never do that often. And then use this car for everyday driving. And you'll just save so much money. I mean, never taking oil changes and, fluids, any of that stuff. I mean, I put wiper fluid in and that's it. So yeah, it's a lot. There are the different types of chargers. Level 1 is really, really slow. That's just the outlet in your house, like a normal outlet, super slow. Level 2 is the one you can get in your garage. It's a 240 volt one. It's like a dryer outlet or an oven outlet, that kind of outlet, and it'll charge any EV from 0 to full overnight. And then the ultra high power ones are the ones that if you really are doing a road trip, you want to go to one of those. But I paid an extra $750 for the high-speed charging upgrade on my Bolt. I've literally never used it. So, I thought, oh, you got to get that, and you don't. So most cars come with that as, you can't even choose the option, but most cars come with it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. I think we can go on to the next slide. So Jeremy was just talking about these 3 charging levels. We've already gone over this. We went over this earlier today, but I just want to bring this back, make this front of mind for now, since this is what we're really going to be talking about here. So next slide. Did we lose her? Let me see if I can request. There we go. Okay, so I put some charging software, or some charging hardware rather, for home charging. These are level 2 chargers. So I think we skipped over level 1. No, we didn't. Okay, level 1, you see right there on the left. It's basically, your standard plug. So level 2, these are, I literally just went on Google, and these are prices that I pulled yesterday for these chargers. You can get, the cheaper ones, under $450, all the way up to $700 for the charge point. ChargePoint comes with an app and all kinds of ways to control and monitor your usage, which is interesting. So different options there, but you can see what that hardware costs. The other thing you have to consider is if you're going to do yes, level 2. All of these are level 2. If you're going to use these, you have to have the 220 outlet. So you have to have the dryer outlet type of thing. So if you don't have that in your garage or wherever you're going to put this, you have to think about what that's going to look like. So that kind of installation can be $1,000 to $2,000 depending on how complex it is to do. And I know, Elisa, you're going to talk more about this as well, so I won't go too deep into that, but I did want you to see the pricing here as of yesterday for these actual chargers that you can buy at Home Depot and Costco and other places like that. So going forward here. Okay, Elisa, I'm turning it back over to you for a quick run through. I think we have a lot of the same people still on the call, so quick run through for you.
Sure.
On these things.
So, hi, I'm Elisa. I'm from Xcel Energy. For anybody that I haven't met, I don't think I met Jeremy earlier. So, hello, I'm on the electric vehicle team at Xcel, and I work mostly with our residential customers. So, talking a little bit about charging your electric vehicle at home. So, next slide, Gabriella. Only thing I would add about level 1 chargers, we talked about it being a trickle charger. Plug it right in. I do like that both level 1 and level 2 can be used inside or outside. So some people that don't have a garage, perhaps have a carport or just parking in the driveway, can use both types of chargers there. Next slide.
I would say we actually have 2 EVs, and one of them we commute with under 30 miles, and the level 1 charger is all you need, and that comes free with every EV. You don't have to buy one. So
yeah,
you really don't need the big upgrade if you're only driving however many miles a day, the 30 or 40.
Yeah, I mean, I like to tell people that I meet that are thinking about an electric vehicle, you're going to go home with a way to charge it. So take it home, live with it for a few weeks, a month, see if you think you need more fast charging, because it may be just fine for you depending on your commute, to just have that level 1 and plug it in. Then the step up from that is a level 2. And this, I would say, Bonnie showed there's a number of options, and there's a cost you typically have to purchase these. Some manufacturers are providing them now, but I think more to come there. Next slide. Just wanted to talk a little bit about what's required for your home to install a level 2 charger. I think both Jeremy and Bonnie mentioned that you'd have to have, an outlet that you might use for your dryer or, a big appliance like that. I think there's a couple ways to do it. You'd want to make sure that you have a dedicated circuit. So it's going to require a spot in your electric panel. The picture here shows an electric panel kind of sitting next to the charger. And that may be the case in your garage, but some people have the panel in their basement or somewhere else that's a more distant location. And so there's cost to running the wire from the charging location to that panel. You also, if we could open that panel door and see all the circuit breakers, it actually takes 2 slots in the panel. So typically you would work with an electrician to make this happen. And we have on our website, xcelenergy.com/EV, a list of electricians that we know in the Denver metro area that know how to install EV chargers. It looks like there's some questions. I think it's Karen K. Simmons, 30 to 60 miles per hour for a 240 volt charger. Why such a 2-fold range per charge? It really depends on the vehicle. It depends on how quickly it can receive the power. So different vehicles charge at different rates. Next slide.
That's I think it might be a power kind of question. 120 volts and 240 volts and level 1 and level 2 make it sound like it's linear, like a level 2 is twice as fast as a level 1, but that's not right. That's not how power works. So you'd have to look up the formulas, but online you can do a quick search and you can see level 2, you can add 25 miles of range in 1 hour, and level 1 only adds about 4 miles of range in 1 hour. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say if you have a 20 or 30 mile commute overnight, level 1's good enough. If you want to go 300 miles overnight or every day, then you want level 2. So.
Thanks. For those of you on the line that are Xcel Energy customers in Colorado, I would say I've got on the screen here what you could do now if you want to get a lower rate to charge your electric vehicle. You could move your whole house to an off-peak rate. So that's kind of thinking about nights and weekends. where you might wait to run your dishwasher and your washing machine or your dryer, or plug in your electric vehicle and set it to charge overnight. And we could give you a lower cost for that. The other thing I would say is, even if you don't make a change like that, if you use the app either on your car or your charging station to program your car to charge, in those overnight and weekend hours, you'd be a good citizen to the grid. You know, there's a lot of wind that blows at night, and we don't have enough demand to use all of that renewable power. So having EV come onto the system overnight allows us to really use more renewables. And then I just wanted to tell you guys about a couple things that are happening with Xcel in the next year to 2 years. So we actually have a pilot program that we hope is coming this summer. And it's going to be us working with a handful of auto manufacturers that are making electric vehicles. And so if you think about onboard systems where the car is smart and can talk to the manufacturer, so think about like OnStar. What we will do is we will be working, Xcel Energy will be working with these auto manufacturers to enroll people in a program where they allow us to have some control over when the energy gets sent to that car. So you sign up, you plug it in, you go into your house for the night, and we are able with the manufacturer to read the state of charge in the car. So know, how much energy does it need? Does it need, to be filled up completely? Does it just need a top off? And then we can look ahead and forecast what's coming onto our grid, for both from the need for power for other things and think renewable like wind blowing. And we can say, okay, it's going to be ideal for our system to start charging it from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And as the customer, you don't really notice that, but you kind of give up some control. And so we give you a better rate for charging that way. And we also give you an incentive by way of either a credit on your bill or a cash incentive that we send you, just for helping us to do that. So I think that's really interesting, and thinking about like how we can work together and how we can use smart technology, not just chargers, but cars, to do some smart charging and manage it that way. So that is coming. On the next slide, there's an email address. You can either email us or you can sign up for our EV network, and we can keep you posted on when something like that's coming if you're interested in signing up. And then the second thing I would tell you about is a home service that we want to bring to Colorado, and we are filing what's called the Transportation Electrification Plan May 15th. So super excited about that. And along with that, we are going to be working on a program that we've piloted here in Minnesota, where I live, where you come to us, you rent an electric vehicle charger, so you don't have to pay a level 2. You don't have to pay that about $700 for the charger. You rent it from us, kind of like you do with your modem from your cable company, perhaps, for internet service. So lowering the cost of entry there. And then we hook you up with an electrician that we have vetted and contracted with to install that equipment in your home. And then we program the car to charge in the overnight hours, and you get charged a lower rate. So that we're working on.
That's amazing.
I'm hoping 2021.
That is super cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. We've obviously got to file these things and we've got to gain approval, but we're really excited about bringing some true EV charging programs that will save our customers money to Colorado. So
Amazing.
more to come. And so I just would say, if you go to xcelenergy.com/EV, there's a bunch of tools there, but you could also join our EV network. There's a button where you can push and enter your information, or you can email us. Me and my team all check the inbox for electric vehicles at xcelenergy.com, and we can keep you posted on how things develop.
Wow, that's really cool. Thanks for letting us know about that. I feel like we're some of the first to know that. I think that's really exciting.
Bonnie?
Very cool. So,
Bonnie,
yes.
let me mention, at V, where we live, there are about 300 residents. We're trying to get a charging station and let each resident charge up and get billed separately for the amount they use.
Mm-hmm.
Others in the V were making sure that if they had to pay for gasoline, we should certainly have to pay for our electricity. But we're making a lot of progress. Barry Peters and I are working on that. Maybe you've heard about that already.
I have heard about that. We've talked about making sure that you all get the Charge Ahead Colorado grant for the installation of that.
Yeah.
And then what Elise is talking about here will actually supplement that in addition. And then what we're going to talk about next is some of the apps that are available with the level 2 charging stations. So that you could track all of that very easily. And I know that you have valets that park the car, so cars would have a card or part for that app that then they could just when they're plugged in, they get billed to the individual rather than. Although with the cost of electricity, what it is, it's a steal. So
Exactly. Yeah. In California, we had solar panels, and we're trying to find ways to use those to charge your own car. So Lisa's comment about when you charge at night and how you could do it is something that California certainly was talking a lot about it. I'd like to see if we could do that more here in Colorado.
David, to that point, I know that some of our product developers have talked about how much the sun shines in Colorado, right? And when we think about shifting people's habits and when they charge, night is a really good time for the grid, but as we figure out how to store solar power more or use that solar power on the grid, we could see daytime charging at workplaces and stuff like that being really powerful.
Yeah, but I was able to stay off of the expensive tier in California with just the solar panels and working our way toward the car use. Yeah.
Cool.
very cool.
Good.
All right, well, we're going to move on here. I put up a picture of some chargers in Colorado, one Clipper Creek and one Charge Point. One thing I want to talk about is that when you're out and about, so when you drive your 30, 50 miles a day and then you head home and you put your car in your garage or, in your carport, whatever it is that you have, and you plug in your trickle charge or your level 2, you don't really think about it. And I think the first few days after I got my electric car, there was just a sense of satisfaction, and now I just really don't think about it. Every once in a while I get a notice on my app telling me that the charger, well, right now, because I'm not driving my car very often, it'll tell me that my car has depleted 10 miles of power. Do I want to, or 10 miles of power, do I want to charge? And I know, no, I'm fine. Because that's only been, because it's been 3 weeks since I drove my car. But I do want to talk about, so when you're out and about and you're traveling, or let's say there are days when I go from Denver to northern Colorado and then back to Denver and then somewhere, my job takes me all over the Front Range. There are times when I think about, okay, I need to stop somewhere and charge. And depending on where I am, it may not be close to a Tesla supercharger, or I may be going someplace that has a charger in the lot. And so I always want to check that out. So that's kind of what we're going to cover here, is these other times that you charge. So, and you'll see chargers like these. There's a video that I've included in this PowerPoint. I've included a link to it. And the guy in the video, who's in Boulder, he talks at length. He's kind of a negative Nelly, what I like to call him. Actually, but he talks at length about what a pain these chargers are. And he's actually very pro EV, but it's his way of talking about it that is kind of interesting. So he talks about all of the bad things. And one of the bad things he talks about is what a pain it is to have 7 different apps on your phone. So if you're driving around and you stop at a charge point charger, you have to pull up the charge point charger and the charge point app and use the charge point charger. And then maybe the next day you go to a SEMA Connect charger. You have to pull up the SEMA. So you have to have all of these apps, which would be like, if I put gas in my car today at BP, and then tomorrow at, I can't even remember the names of these places, 7-Eleven, I would need different apps for those two. That's kind of what we're comparing this to. So it is a hassle. That is one of the drawbacks of charging outside of where you park and where you sleep. But I would like to talk about it. And I also want to show you a really cool app that can help you map your trips. So next slide, please. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Okay, so there are a number of different links and apps. I put a picture of my phone screen here, what my charging, I only have these because these are the ones that I hit the most. But there, the top part of this slide, the U.S. Department of Energy Alternative Fuels Data Center has their electric charging stations. Google Maps is not part of that. That should be not a bullet. It should be a different bullet size. Google Maps actually has an excellent charger finder. So if you go to Google Maps and you tell it what type of map you want to see, you can pull up a charging app that shows you details about the chargers, everything from what type of charger it is, you know, if it's busy and all that kind of stuff, which is the same thing that PlugShare will do. And I'll show you PlugShare in a little bit because it's one of my favorite things. But these are the type of apps you use if you're going on a trip and you want to map your trip out, or if you're, let's say, you know, I'm going to my in-laws house and they live about 200 miles from us. So, you know, I need to map that out. I'll see, you know, stations along the way, or we can plan, okay, well, we're going to stop at this charger, which is at, you know, at this place where we can stop and grab some coffee, or, you know, it'll just help you, you know, when you're out and about beyond your normal 30 or 50 miles. So the charger manufacturers are the ones that everyone complains about. You know, I have to have a charge point in order to charge at this charger, and I have to have Electrify America to do theirs. Some of them are starting to combine. I think it's ChargePoint and EVgo that now have a shared app. SEMA Connect is a really interesting one because you have to use their app to get a code, and then you have to put in a code, and they're all kind of all over the board. So I do see the guy on the video, which you can see my little link for the video there in the lower right. I do see his point. It is a hassle, but for most of us who are not charging very often outside of our homes, it is what it is. So before I move on, though, any questions about this? Any questions about, you know, the apps and these charging stations? Any thoughts about that? Okay. Well, then in that case, I'm going to, Gabriella, I'm going to take back control of this, and I'm going to go to PlugShare. He'll let me. Okay, it's not gonna let me.
Do I need to stop share for that?
Yes, please.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to show you my PlugShare. Now, I usually use this as an app, so seeing this on my big screen is like, whoa, wow, it's huge. So, but you can, I mean, you can use both. You can use the app on your phone when you're out and about, or I could plan right now. I was going to plan a trip to, I don't know, where do I want to go? Portland, Oregon, maybe. So, and now I have forgotten how to do this. So bear with me a second here. It shows my vehicle, and I think it's over here, this one. So this, this is all in the app as well as the desktop application. So if you want to follow along at plugshare.com, you won't, if you don't have an account there, you won't be able to create a trip, but you can certainly look at all of this and see, you can see the charging networks, and you can see, you know, like a lot of the highways, you see these very regular charging stations, which is pretty interesting. We're starting to see less and less, you know, the gap, what they call charging deserts. So we're starting to see that less and less. Even in the mountains of Utah and Colorado, we're getting pretty good about charging. The other nice thing about PlugShare is it'll show you also, you know, specific repair places. Like, I think this is interesting that this is a Dateland Travel Center has billed themselves as, you know, really focusing on EVs. So if you're having trouble, you can go there. And then when I pull up the menu here, if you can see that, I can tell plug share. I have a Tesla, so I'm looking for superchargers. I have an adapter, so I can use these. And then of course the Tesla one, I'm not really looking for a wall charger today because I want to go far. And then I'm pretty, you know, agnostic. If I end up at a new flow station, fine, I'll download the app and figure it out. So I scroll down here and I see trip planner, and I'm going to plan a new trip. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say, I'm going to go from Denver to Portland. I'm always interested that this always takes me to Portland, Oregon, and never Portland, Maine, which I'd like to go there too. So this is kind of interesting because now it will show me a trip that I can take, and it shows me how long it takes, including charging. And it has these recommended chargers. So let's say I want to zoom in here. It's recommending that, well, it's showing me all of these chargers along the road. So this is a little different than what you get on the Tesla app. If you map your like Julia did, if you map your trip in Tesla, it'll tell you exactly where to stop and how long. This tells you where you can stop and what type of charger it is. So it's kind of cool to see, you know, that this is doable and how to do it on a road trip. There are some places that, you know, you want to go that you can't get to. I wouldn't recommend a lot of backcountry mountain traveling right now. However, if you do end up at a cabin that has electricity, you could always trickle charge if you needed to. So anyway, I wanted to show you that just because I think it's kind of cool. And I want to encourage you to use Plug Share. I think it's one of the easier apps to use in terms of just finding different charging stations. I like it because it's agnostic in terms of, you know, they have charge point, they have all of the different charging stations. So I can look on here and see if a charging station, where charging stations are, and if they're available, excuse me, all kinds of data about it. I can see, you know, we're allowed to rate chargers. So I can say, oh, okay, I went to this charger. I recently was at this true story, went to a charger in Fort Collins, and they said there were 2 chargers there, and I looked on the app and someone had left a review saying this charger works, but only one side actually works, and it works at this level. And so I went there, and sure enough, it was exactly, you know, as this person had said. So it's nice to have that kind of heads up. Like I sometimes go to a charger in Longmont. If I go to the movie theater, I like, just because I can, I like to charge there because it's free. And there are ratings on that app that tell you if you use the one on, there are 2 of them across the street from each other, and if you use the one on the north side, it charges faster than the one on the south side, which I found is true. So it's just interesting to have this sort of crowd sharing, or, you know, crowdsourcing app opportunity. So anyway, that's what I have for the charging apps. Again, any questions? I'm open for that right now. Are there other things that we need to talk about? Other questions? I think if I'm seeing people drop off. I know this is a really long day, so I don't want to drag this on too much, but I do want to open it up for any questions now. Or we could all just get off the phone.
Thanks for hosting this.
You're welcome. Jeremy, thanks for all your help. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your insight. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else? All right.
Bonnie, I think there's a question in the chat.
Sorry, I missed that. I don't have.
There's a couple now.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me get out of this. I can't. When I'm sharing it, I'm having trouble with. Zoom thinks that I have 2 accounts open, and I can't figure out what that means. So, because I don't. All right, now I can see this. Oh, there's a lot of numbers on there. Jeremy, you must be a mathematician or an engineer.
Yeah, I built spacecraft. They run on electric a lot.
So you're a rocket scientist then?
Not really. I think those are the prop guys. But the question was solar panel sizing, and the simple answer is you determine how many solar panels you need just by looking at your monthly electric usage. That's how they do it. And if you want to say, I'm going to add an EV in a month or two or sometime in the future, and I want to size my number of solar panels to account for that, that's easy to do. I put a quick example. So,
Okay.
And I'm sure any one of the calculators that you would use to size the array you can do this anyway. And most people don't do this themselves anyway. The solar installer does it, or you could work with Xcel Energy to do it. But the quick example is if you use 1,000 kilowatt hours per month on your bill on average, then you would just want to add whatever your driving would cost or would add to that. And if you're, use some calculator, but for me, 3 miles per kilowatt hour because I drive fast-ish, I'm not too efficient. So other people get more than that. And sometimes I get less than that. So, but whatever the average number is, let's say it's that. And if you drive 12,000 miles a year, that's 1,000 a month. That's 300 kilowatt hours. So that's super easy. If you use 1,000 in a month and you're going to use 1,300 now, you just size your system for that. So we do have a big solar array on this house, and I got to say it's super awesome to generate, power the house and power the cars and never go to the gas station. It's like the coolest feeling ever.
Yeah.
So,
That's really cool.
yeah.
That's next for me, solar powered.
And then you have, it looks like 2 different questions on how do you pay when you go to the charging stations, and what kind of, does the app take credit cards? How does that work?
The apps seem to show different charge devices for different cars. Do all charge stations offer all different plugs? No. They're starting to. It's starting to become more common that you get there and there's, like just kind of grab your adapter. I carry my own adapters with me for my car. Most of the cars, if you get a car that's going to have an unusual plug, I think Leaf will do this as well in some cases. They'll give you the adapters that you need, or you can buy them. So, but I noticed that Electrify America and EVgo now are pretty, that you go there, they have all of the different adapters that you need right there, and they're getting better about that. So, and then do you need to sign on to pay when it is not free? Chargers don't take credit cards yet. I don't know, I think there's a law against that, which is why they don't. Otherwise it would just, I guess it would be too easy. I don't know what the issue is there, but they don't, and that's why each of the chargers has their own app. You do have to sign on to pay, so you either have to hook it up to whatever if you have like Apple Pay on your phone or something like that, you can do that, or you can put your credit card into the app. So yes, you do have to put your credit card in there if it's not free. There are a lot of free chargers, which is kind of fun. I like to search those out. And then, can I walk through the process of charging at a station? Absolutely. It's very similar to going to actually last night I was thinking about if I could do a video of this fast enough, but it was too dark by the time I thought about doing it. So, for instance, the one that I go to in Longmont occasionally. So it's different with Tesla. With Tesla, you go up to the Tesla supercharger, you plug in, and there's no cards, there's nothing, because the Tesla network recognizes your car and will just connect with your car's computer, and you actually see on your screen how much your car is charging, how much it costs, if anything. A lot of us still have free charging, and so you can charge that way. It's you plug, you push, you walk up, you push the button, your door opens, your charger door opens, you put the nozzle in, sort of like a regular gas nozzle, and then you can sit in your car and watch it you know, filling, or you can sit in your car and watch YouTube or Netflix, or you know, play car karaoke, whatever it is. Tesla has tons of things to keep you busy and in your car. So that's easy if you have a Tesla. If you don't have a Tesla and you're charging, let's say I go to the charge point station that is down the road from me, and you know, it's free, like I said. So I like to charge there because it's free and it just gives me a little haha charge. So you pull in my case, I back in because my charger is at the back of my car. I walk up to the charging station and I put my phone under the charging station. The phone, because I have the app on my phone, communicates with the charging station, tells it that I'm there, and it gives me a little thing that says, welcome, you can now, you know, then I can pick up the nozzle, and I put the nozzle with the adapter that I have with me on, and I put it in, and then I sit in my car and I do my shopping or whatever it is that I'm there for. So it is that extra step of having the app ready. For me, I only have a few apps because I only go to a few different kinds of stations where I am. I think if I traveled more, I may have more apps, but I also have certain stations that I like more than others. Like I find the interface with ChargePoint very easy to use. So I often will preference, like I can do on plug share, I can tell it, just show me ChargePoint chargers, because that's all I can deal with today. I can't deal with all the rest of the hassle. So it'll just show me ChargePoint, and ChargePoint has a really extensive network, and their chargers I just find them really easy to use. Like I said, I walk up, I wave my phone under, and I'm ready to go. Other times, like when I charge, if I go to South Denver, there's a charger that I use there. You know, I have my favorite chargers, right? So I have the apps for those favorite chargers. And so that one requires me to open up my app, get a code that is connected to my credit card, and then put that code into the charger, and then click on the app that I just did that, so it's secure, and then, you know, it lets me have the nozzle, and I put it in. So I would like to show you a video that is more is more concise. I do encourage you to look at the video that links on the PowerPoint when I send that out, because he'll walk through how he shows you how that works, and he uses a ChargePoint charger, so you can see how that works. So I hope that was clear, Sue. I hope that was helpful. Any other questions? Okay, well, to everyone who's still on this call, thank you very much for being here. I really enjoyed this time with you today, and looking forward to seeing you on the road in your EVs. If you get an EV, I want to see a picture, please. I would also like to see you charging. You know, send me pictures of yourself charging. That would mean that we're successful here. So. As always, we're available. My team and I are ready to answer questions, talk with you. We're building our website right now to provide some resources, and we will be sending this PowerPoint out to you so you have these resources in the meantime. So thank you all, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.